we go.
Woohoo!
That's better.
I like this.
What's the problem? Nothing happened. You're all just
I don't know what
imagining
you're talking about.
things.
Oh my God.
I've
Hey,
been sitting
everybody.
here the whole time.
I know, me too.
Stroking
I'm like,
my sword.
I don't hear the intro music. Why do I not hear the intro music? And then all of a sudden I saw the new THX Alien. I'm like, yeah, wrong one.
Yep.
Oops. God have mercy.
Well, that's okay because people in the future won't know that happened, but now they will. So
Yeah, they
good
will.
job,
Yeah,
John.
thanks for bringing it back
You
up.
just totally called us out.
That's what I do, and I do it well. Thank you very much. Because
Yeah.
I'm a perfectionist.
There we
That's what
have it.
everybody keeps telling me.
The truth caller.
The truth caller. So how's
Yeah.
everybody doing? Y'all been out in the woods?
I had to get a new van
It's-
because we've been traveling so much. We'd hit 230,000 miles on the old one. So it was some strange lights that came on. So we're like, okay, time to get the new one.
Wait, were
So
they like orbs? What kind of
Not
strange
quite.
lights
What
were
kind
you
of
seeing?
It
what
was-
kind of lights?
It was the scary light that say check engine.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then-
those
and
are
then-
Ah,
those
Yeah.
are
hate
not
that
good
kind of
lights.
message from beyond the grave.
Yeah. And then when you scan it and it's not your gas cap, it's not the fuel injectors, it's the transmission, you go, okay, yeah,
Thank you
That's
for your
the only-
service.
yeah, exactly. We'll put her out to pasture. We sent her upstate
Yep.
to play with all the other vans.
My question to you is, how are you going to replace all those stickers?
Oh, that was the heartbreak. They were even like offering to try to peel them off, and I'm like, they're not going to re-stick, so it's not worth it. But now we'll have new stickers and new memories. So
Well, you
Oh,
know
we'll
you're going
have to
to get
get you some new
ParaGeeks, and then you'll get
yeah,
the
need
get
ParaGeeks back. Yeah,
I'm working on a new response for ParaGeeks. So that's my
Nice.
next thing. So I
nice.
got to find a
Cool.
good graphic artist guy. Some of those
Yeah.
kind
So have
of.
you
And we
guys
did
been
the
out in the
waste-
woods?
I have been out in the woods.
Yeah.
Have you been out in the woods,
Okay.
Michael?
I've been at the beach.
Oh, Bigfoot.
Oh, that's right.
Bigfoot ain't at the beach.
No, he was
Just telling
kraken
you.
hunting.
We were at the KOA in Sutton, West Virginia, Fallout 76, the Wasteland weekend.
Yes.
But it's Flatwoods monster territory. I have so many bottle caps that we
Oh my
traded.
God, that's
for.
funny. That is hilarious.
That was great. The whole
By
town
the
was
way,
big into it. Flatwoods Monster
It sounded
Museum.
amazingly impressive. It sounded amazingly impressive when you said it's the Fallout weekend anniversary and we're at the such and such festival. But when you opened with we're at the KOA, it just like
Yeah.
Well, maybe it just lowered expectations. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, the convention was at the Days Inn and the KOA, so there you go. But that's all they got in Flatwoods, West Virginia. So
That is true. Well, actually,
yes.
coming soon to coming soon. There's going to be a new one where we're building the camps at. So yeah,
nice. I'm excited.
That'll be good.
yeah, it's good. So
Now, maybe what we need to do is hold a Bigfoot conference at a Buc-ee's.
oh my God, that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Sevierville.
We won't
I
even
bet
tell
they
them.
would do
We'll
it.
all just show up.
There,
I'll sell tickets. Nobody will know.
We'll promise tent space and booth space and
yeah.
charge you up front. And people get there, they better grab a parking spot real quick.
I still think a
Oh,
Cracker
I know.
Barrel
We'll have
would be good
vegetarian
too.
options.
Well, they do have cheese.
I still think a
candy.
Cracker
Yeah.
Barrel would do. Cracker Barrel would be good
Oh, I
too.
think it'd do awesome.
Oh, Cracker Barrel would be
I mean,
awesome.
the old one, not the new one.
I'm still
Yeah,
letting
no,
the
no.
Buc-ee's think through my
Free-
head because I'm thinking Bigfoot nuggets.
Ooh. And coming soon to you, Bigfoot Nuggets and Grumpy Squatch Coffee.
Yep.
But anyway,
Oh, we got a
so-
whole line of products here.
But yeah,
Yes, sir, Mr. John.
I went out to the woods. Believe it or not, I've actually been
Mhm.
behind my house because I had someone stop in the studio earlier in the week and said, or actually into last week and said, I saw a Bigfoot over the back of your ridge. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, okay. So I went up there and you can see something's moving around, but there's so much pine needle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really any definition. But like the other night, we probably had 15 coyotes out there squalling all night long, trying to get in our chicken coop.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So they're there. They're there. They're just,
Yep.
I don't know, but
They're just being nice to you.
we have got a a great lineup today for topics, and we're gonna save the best for last. We're gonna let Mr. Mark is gonna talk to us about how Bigfoot ain't real.
Not.
No,
That's what he said.
He's going to give
It's
us a
not real.
history
I
lesson.
heard it.
I'm saying
Bigfoot ain't real.
It's gonna hurt all our
90
feelings.
I'm saying 99% aren't real. That's
okay.
about where I'm at. It's that 1% that I think is why we're here.
Wow.
So, but I'm going to explain why I think that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I get that. Yep. And Michael,
Sorry.
We're
you're
going to start
doing
off with
UFO
Michael,
stuff.
though, because Michael's got some. So here's what I've learned. We have to take our time talking about this to let the tech catch up to us, because I have been yelled at so many times, not by the tech back there, but the tech is like, you got to give me time. Dude, you guys are all over the place, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so now we're going to go to Michael's topics. Now, the good thing is Michael gave me all images that are portrait. That's a no-no, but it is what it is. So it's going to be kind of easy. And so, see, standing by,
Yep,
because
there it goes.
I'm just telling you, I know these things. But anyway,
Wow.
your topic today is about UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
And so my bottom, I want to know from you, I keep looking at you like there's like a double camera over here. I got to keep looking at my camera. Mike's in studio today. I mean, look, there's my hand. I can prove it. So do you?
How do we know that's your hand?
That is true. I could have someone over there doing this.
I don't know. Mark's going to tell us how to tell, okay, at the end of the show. So stay tuned.
You got to stay tuned. So my question is, and we need to have everybody chime in. Do you not think UFOs are real, and are they demons?
You want that now?
Yeah,
Or-
I want to know.
Okay.
Inquiring minds want to know.
100% UFOs are real. People see stuff that they don't understand and is unidentified flying object. Period.
Wow,
That is real. Are they demons? Likely not. But it is definitely, again, stuff we don't understand. And so we often label that as demons. That's been through history. Gods, angels, demons. What are these things that we don't understand? So 100% stuff we don't understand. I do not believe that they are biblical demons, because it's just, I would need proof, and that's going to be hard to get. So
The proof is out there.
Okay.
Anthony?
Well, I'm going to say that if you say they are unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomena, then they cannot be demons.
Yeah.
Because the minute you say they're demons, you're identifying them. And so therefore, they are no longer unidentified.
Gotcha.
So they are A or B. And because I do not have evidence that they are demons, I must leave them as UFOs or UAPs.
Okay. All right. Who's next? Oh, me. I guess if this is your topic, I'll let you go last. But I think they're real. I don't think they're demons. I sometimes think they're us from the future. That's kind of where
that was my line.
I am more that world. Because and we're always trying to help us. I think. Because if it
I
was,
don't know.
let me talk. I'll let you talk.
I am.
Go ahead, Anthony. I can stop.
No, there's a scary part to that us from the future thing, and it has to do with the butterfly effect. And what it means is very simply, if we are willing to come back from the future and completely screw with the timeline any which way, it means that something is about to happen in which our survival, our individual actions, everything play absolutely no role. And to think that everything we are doing would be that inconsequential, that's extraordinary. That it would have to be, I mean, just cataclysmic. I don't even know what it would be that could result in that, unless they came back and picked up survivors because they knew that's what happened. Not survivors even, okay, but grabbed them and then after the cataclysm brought them back and transplanted because they knew that's what happened because it's in the historical record. But I mean, yeah, this is crazy dangerous to have it be us from the future, because it means that whatever they do is not changing the timeline.
Well, what if it's so easy to do in the future that there's always those people that are always trying to mess up the timeline, and then so there's other people coming back to try to keep them from messing up the timeline.
Time cops.
Time cops, right.
Oh, there's actually some physics studies going on right now that have proven, I don't know all the details of it, they're just talking about it, that are stating that you can't change the timeline, that the timeline will fix itself. And I want to dig a little deeper into that myself, but I'm working on this UFO project right now, so I'm kind of mired in, but I would like to dig deeper into that.
Okay,
Well,
so let's
So
start
tell
with,
us about the UFO
let's
project.
talk
Go
about the
ahead, Mike.
UFO that you got going on here.
Well, I made the mistake of, once the disclosure happened, of digging into some of the files
Okay.
and found just exactly, because everybody's saying, oh, there's
And
just
I think
a
we
little
have
bit of info.
images of the file and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's one of the first or second sets of like 200 reports from 1947. There's over 70, I think. It's so much information, it is insane.
So I'm going to
The old
have our
Project
tech
Blue Book stuff.
start rolling through the images.
Yeah, he can roll through. 'cause it
And
just
then
shows
eventually
how-
we're going to show the video, right?
Yeah, it just shows a little bit of how each of these are set up and how it's stepped initially. And then we get to the Apollo program.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah, this was a good
NASA's
one.
always said there's nothing up there. I have another shot that has like eight of those images in one shot, where there's something up there watching Neil Armstrong on the moon, and he takes their picture. NASA went through and said, oh, there's nothing, and they don't. It's been in the Gemini program. They give the transcripts for Gemini. The Apollo program, multiple missions, where they're discussing the bogeys they're watching. And then you lead into more modern day stuff, like the videos. I think it started in like 2000, 2001 for the latest batch. They didn't include the original images that we got, the original videos that we got that they were discussing in 2020, I think it was. But some of these are really unique. If you want to go ahead and roll the video Cage, it's not like anything I've ever seen.
It looks like an airplane to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a contrail. But I've never seen an airplane do this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, if
But
you're right behind
also-
them, it
Yeah,
will
you've gotta
look
remember,
a little bit
this
like
is-
that. But
This is a moving craft filming another moving craft.
Yeah.
So it is going to look a little janky.
Well,
yeah,
when I was
except for the
doing
contrail.
the
Yeah.
backstory on some
The
of the shapes
contrail
of the
is too
crafts,
static.
because everyone kept saying, "Oh, it's just a saucer-shaped craft." When you go through a lot of the FBI files, they talk about a craft that's shaped like a star. So they've been seeing this craft since 1947.
Yeah, so that's kind of my biggest question here is that the tracking, is that the tracking module that's the star, or is that the actual shape of the craft that they're following? Because you know how
that's-
sometimes you get a crosshair pointer, right?
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
actually
but
the
crosshair
shape
pointers
of the craft.
dead center.
But no, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
You see the
one of
crosshair
the
in the center?
tracking
Go ahead, Mark.
software. the tracking software will show bogeys and things like that as weird. And a lot of these, I'm pretty sure were just insects in front of the camera. But that's just me. But again, the documents, they didn't say anything we hadn't already heard from
Right.
people
Yeah.
since
Oh, yeah.
interviews and stuff
Exactly.
like that. It was just confirming that they'd actually investigated, that they've said, oh, we've never investigated this, but now they're confirming that they did.
Well, so
That's
I'm
the big.
going to have our tech put that back up, because I want you to watch every now and then what really kind of makes me wonder. Go ahead and play that video again. So if you pay attention to this, every now and then when it goes up, monitor high right, high left, there's these wisps. And I wanted to see the problem I have with this right here. Not that I don't think it's fake. I don't see the altitude. I don't see the speed. I don't see that kind of stuff. That's kind of, to me.
And
did you look
as
to
we
the-
know with tech, that might not be contrail. That might be some after image from the cursor. That could be after image from
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
It looks like a contrail, but that could just be an artifact from the military program that recorded this. We don't know. And they didn't even mention contrail in the one for this.
No,
They
they
just-
didn't. And the
No.
one thing you have to keep in mind, this is being shot in FLIR. So it's
Yeah.
picking up heat signature. not
That's-
See right
necessarily
there?
Exhaust.
There was that one little thing that came across that screen.
Yep.
And there it
There.
goes again.
Yep.
See? So what is that? I mean, are those high altitude clouds? How high are they? How low are they?
Exactly.
Is this? I don't know. It's to me, it looks suspicious. I'm just saying.
Well, that's all the blacked out stuff is the height, the altitude, the speed, because they don't want you knowing how fast the military plane can go,
Gotcha.
because they don't want that going to the Chinese or
and
the
all
Russians.
of the shots that were taken from aircraft, every one of them are blacked out like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
gave
we
them
also
no
don't. They
true
also don't want to
info.
show them how the HUD works and all that.
Mhm.
So,
The only thing you would get is the header would say shot in the Middle East.
Gotcha.
yeah, or this day. Yeah, and
All right,
even
you
then,
can come back to
it's
force.
half the dates are
Thanks.
blocked out. So there you go.
So it really does make me go,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is
No, it's-
kind of compelling.
Again, they saw something they don't understand. That's
Exactly.
100%. It is an unidentified flying
that's
object.
the
will-
true definition of a UFO or UAV.
I will also say though, if you look at that star shape, okay, if it were any kind of flare or artifact or some kind of blur or anything like that,
Yeah.
it would not be static. It is 100% static. It never changes its shape. It never alters its dimensions. Everything is proportionally exactly the same, close up, far away, but it's right there and it stays the same. So that to me speaks of an actual physical object that is being captured. If that was shot on a FLIR, then what you're seeing is a heat trail behind it.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing.
That's all.
Okay, and that makes perfect sense. It won't be a contrail; it's a heat trail.
And again,
And that means
plane
that whatever
that's-
it's doing. Go ahead.
for me, it's with a plane moving, filming another plane moving. That's why the trail looks so weird. And also, you were saying the static image. I actually think that for me makes it less real, because that means it's an artifact, a digital artifact, likely.
Right. Well, that was good. So you're going to deep dive into this even more.
Oh yes.
It's got my attention.
I've see, for what we're hearing from some of the congressmen and things of this nature is that this was the small disclosure,
Yeah.
the precursor to the real stuff coming out. So I'm trying to get all of this compiled into one location and kind of on a timeline, so that when the next stuff comes out, we have a better visual of the entire project and what's really coming. Is they're saying this is huge. I know there's a lot of talk of possible these are demons and things of that nature. I've done a lot of paranormal research. The things that I felt were demons did not look like that.
No,
Wow.
100%.
So,
Cool.
all right. So you're going to deep dive on that and give us more information, which is absolutely phenomenal. So Anthony, we're going to talk a little
Yes.
We're going to talk about Little Egypt. Is that how you do that?
Something I don't know anything about. Walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah, I was there, well, bring out
that's
the
what we're gonna
bangles.
do.
So, okay, I have a question for you before you deep
Yes.
dive. So, do you think the Cherokee that are in the Northeast are part of the lost tribe of Israel and Egypt?
No.
I have no reason to think of anything on this side of the puddle as having anything to do with ancient Egypt at all whatsoever in the least.
So, you don't think that a lot of the stuff out in Arizona?
I will give you I will give you Scotland. Okay. I will give you I think there's evidence of ancient cross-culture communication back as far as 2500 BC. I'll give you that, up to talking with the Celts and the Picts and whomever, okay, in Northeast Europe. But that's because you can go out the mouth of the Mediterranean and hug the coast, and there you are. You hit an island.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, it's not that hard to do. But none of the ships they ever built were ever seaworthy. They were all Nile-worthy riverboats.
Right.
You can't take a riverboat across the ocean. Now, did somebody pick them up and bring them there? Show me the somebody, and then we can decide what they did.
UFO.
We should reverse that process.
Pangea and the Bering Strait, we know were real, and that's
Yes.
where they come from. It's easy. And if you compare like the Slavic and some of that, there's so much DNA that cross-pollinates with the natives. So that's the indigenous. I don't like to call them native because they came from somewhere else. They're
Mexico.
indigenous. They've been here
Right.
since,
South America.
Right. Yeah, but
Yeah.
but we check South America, and it corresponds almost directly over with Asia in so many ways. And you don't find Eastern Europeans or Western Europeans involved in any of that. You're not seeing their DNA, to my knowledge.
Actually,
But you
they
do
have
see-
we also
DNA
know-
bloodlines of the Jewish
Lost tribe. The
Yeah.
lost tribe of Israel.
in the Cherokee bloodline.
Again, I do think, but that's
Gotta
more
look at it.
recent. I think that's more recent. And you don't see that in any of the older DNA tests. That's what, but it's, again, older
Yeah.
DNA, we're not 100% good with that. So it could have been there, but like they do the bone DNA, no trace.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, I just
Yeah.
I had to ask. I mean,
No, I get it.
inquiring
you're
minds
spot
want to
on.
know.
But but here's the thing. What we have is inside some of these documents that were released, there is let's bring up image number 1. Someone found a list of photos that are in the records, and one of the photos is labeled Temple Under the Sphinx.
Woof.
Wow. Wouldn't it be freaking awesome if the photo was still attached? But it isn't. We just have the description of the photo, the temple under the Sphinx. So now, yes, you've moved on. This is what people think the temple under the Sphinx probably looks like. It's some giant, subterranean archive, a library. Libraries are not temples, by the way. Don't get
Slow
ahead
down.
on the picture.
He's going to
Stop.
call up the number, Cage.
I'm going to call them up when I'm ready. So here, so let's
Go
move
back to
ahead.
2.
Okay, so we had that other image. This is where we were at. This one. This is the I don't know, Edgar Casey kind of, look, the Hall of Records of the Atlanteans, yada yada yada. All this stuff actually started with Edgar Casey saying that, I think there's a temple or a chamber under the Sphinx. It's always been a chamber. It's never been anything but a chamber. But now, because we have this document, now suddenly it's a temple. Congratulations. It's now migrated. It's like, oh, look, we found evidence of a temple. No, you found a line in a document describing the picture. Because now what we have to do is we have to set the Wayback Machine back to the 1950s when this photograph was actually taken. So now let's move on to picture number 3. Okay. Picture number 3 is pretty much what the Sphinx looked like in the 1930s, 40s, before they removed all of the sand. It was buried up to its neck. So now imagine that this is the photograph. I do not know that this is the photograph, but let's imagine this is the photograph. And what do you see under the Sphinx? You see a giant carved stela, which looks like the wall of a temple. That is called the Dream Stela of Tutmos IV. And it describes how when he was it's like from 1500 BC, he was out hunting something or other and took a nap underneath the chin of the Sphinx, which was buried up to its chin in sand. And everybody thought it was just the head of a statue. Nobody knew any better. But he had a dream that, there's much more there. And if you uncover it, you will one day be Pharaoh. And so he went ahead and ordered the excavation of it. And lo and behold, they found the whole body of the Sphinx. So that stone in front of it is the story of Tutmos IV. That's why it's called the Dream Stela.
Right.
Okay, so now let's move on to the next picture, which is number 4. Picture number 4 is probably a little bit closer to what it was like. You can see where most of it's been dug out. So now what you have is, oh gosh, not only did we find underneath the 60-foot high statue of the Sphinx, there is a temple sitting right in front of it that is only about 5 meters tall. At the most, okay? It's probably about 12 feet tall. And so now you have this temple that sits lower than the Sphinx, directly in front of it. So now let's move to the next photo to give you an even better idea of what that looks like. Oh, that's the Dream Stela. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to move to number 6, which is the aerial photo, to give you a sense of perspective here. Okay, so let's move on to number 6.
He's getting there.
Give him a minute.
I know. I'm rushing him. Okay? So when you look at that and you realize how big that thing is and it's up the hill and you have a temple down in front of it that sits that much lower, how would you describe that as a short line if you were taking the picture from the front, which now we'll go to the last photo there, number 7, okay? This is what your temple actually looks like. And if this was similar to that photo, you would say the temple under the Sphinx.
Yep.
So not directly under, it's just below.
No.
It's below sight line.
Yeah. Below. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you go into a
below.
When you go to a Capitol building and it's got the lawn in the front, you say it's, you can either say it's in front or you say it's below, especially when it's on a hill.
So you don't believe that there could be something underneath that Sphinx?
Well,
there is something under there. It's a little dead end shaft.
Yeah, we found out it was kind of hollow at the back, and that's not completely, but enough for a tunnel down, and that's.
Well, what if it was?
And it just dead ends.
What if the guy that made it went, you know what? I don't want a pyramid. I want a big kitty cat sitting on top of me.
Well, we know the head was. We think the head was Thutmose changed the head, or somebody did it as a tribute to him. You don't?
I don't believe so. I think we're looking at. Okay, ready? Theory. Get ready, everybody. This is my work. What you're looking at here, okay. To the right of this is the Great Pyramid at Giza, okay? That is the Pyramid of Khufu. Khufu was the son of Sneferu. Khufu was the first one to build a pyramid at Giza. Khufu moved the royal pyramid complex up to the the land, this outcrop right across from Heliopolis. Heliopolis was the city honoring the sun god, Re. So he moves his temple there, builds his giant pyramid there, and I've done research on that, and there's even more to come. But what then happens is after he passes, all of his children and grandchildren are named son of Re.
Yeah.
So it's Kaf Re. Kaf, son of Re. Jedeth, son of Re. Menkor, son of Re. So those are their names. He then, his son, Khafre, builds his pyramid right there next door. It actually sits a little bit taller because it sits higher on the mound, okay, than Khufu's pyramid. So although technically it is a shorter pyramid, it sits up a little bit higher. And that's before you're counting for knocking off the top blocks on Khufu's pyramid. But in honor of his father, he then built this in front of his own pyramid to say, I honor my father, Khufu, the sun god, because the Sphinx faces sunrise, and we only have one tiny statue. It's only like 9 centimeters tall that ever survived of Khufu. There's a reason for that. I can talk about it later. But we have one statue, and in that statue, what you see is this super wide, pronounced jaw. Totally not like any other pharaoh, but exactly like the Sphinx.
Huh.
That Sphinx looks nothing like any other pharaoh, really. Definitely not like Khafre, which is the popular thing. Oh, Khafre built it with a statue to himself. Well, then why doesn't it look like Khafre?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't carve a statue to make the chin wider.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the original chin. And it is so square. If I actually brought up that other image, and I've done this, I put them side by side, it's the same person.
Huh.
I know not to argue Egyptology with you.
No,
sir.
argue, please. I love this. This is what I love.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess they're not Cherokee.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else, Mark. What you got?
No, I
really
don't. I
think it's
just heard the
Tutmos?
Thutmose that they had, they had adapted it because of what he found the stele. So
Right, because of the Dream Stella. No, and if they had, it would have been noted in the Dream Stella.
Okay,
It's not there.
Good point.
Okay, that's something he would have said. Yeah,
that was
instead
Dyneken.
they honored
that was
it,
Dyneken
and it's cool.
theory. So
Chariots
to the gods
that's
died.
not a shock.
Okay.
Yeah, there we
Exactly.
go.
All right.
All
That's
right,
neat.
but now we have to get to the really good stuff. Okay,
Bigfoot.
we have got to find out the history of Bigfoot footprints.
And we'll continue this next week right here on. No, just kidding.
No.
Hey, guess what? It's next week already. We just time traveled into the future.
All right. So
People at home are like,
I've been holding on to this for a while, and then I was doing deep dives, and then a good guy who's gotten a lot of flack, Jason Bazizel, he got all this flack because he was one of the ones that was like, saw the new documentary and said, yeah, 100% Patterson Gimlin was fake. And he started down this deep dive of cryptozoology debunking. And this is a lot of stuff I have. So yeah, he's going through stuff that I've already researched too, but he really, he ranted on it quite a bit, but I'm going to break it down a little scientifically, which is historically. I am not a Bigfoot hunter. I am not a ghost hunter. I am not a UFO hunter. I am a storyteller, and I dig into the folklore. I dig into the history, and I try to figure out what is what. And that's why I've got a Ghost Watch shirt on right now. That was one of the biggest hoaxes in British history that wasn't intended as a hoax. It was intended as a TV movie that was done like a realistic newscast.
Blair
And
Witch.
yeah, and people thought it was real, and people panicked, and one kid killed himself. So this was never rebroadcast till the 2000s. It was a 1990, 89, 90. And I saw it in England when it aired. And now, look at that. It just disappeared. But now everybody talks about it. And but anyway, that's another topic for another day. So when did the modern Bigfoot craze begin? Right?
Yeah, there we go.
Around the 60s. But really, 1957, Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia, the village council was trying to find a way to improve tourism.
Right.
And so they had a contest and said, we will give $600 for the best Sasquatch Bigfoot story. They'd had those stories for years. So yes, they'd had the stories.
I think we have imagery on this too, don't we?
I think we do. I think it's no, that's a little bit later. I'm sorry, the numbers are wrong. Can you pull up number 5? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't number
his
the
are not
video.
sequential.
I was having a seizure week, so I'm a little cloudy and I couldn't reply when you guys asked for the numbers. All right. So anyway, they discussed having this Sasquatch hunt story. They even already discussed having a Sasquatch hunt to go generate publicity. There we go. And this is actually Toledo talking about their Bigfoot, and they were debunking their stories with this information. So what happened was they put out this contest, and suddenly everybody floods them with Bigfoot stories and starts, and old accounts that hadn't been talked about for decades. And suddenly they're in this newspaper, and it starts spreading to every newspaper in the country because it's 1950s stories. They needed stories. So
Right.
Now Albert Ostman, probably one of the first names whenever anybody talks about Bigfoot, they bring up this guy. He claimed he was kidnapped by a Sasquatch family in 1924, held captive for 6 days, and doesn't tell anybody about this till that 1957 $600 is offered. Right? All right. So now there's a problem here. 33 years to mention you were abducted by freaking apes and gorilla things, and that's a little weird. And then
It's
we've
an
got
uncomfortable
William
topic.
Rowe. Yeah. So William Rowe, he encountered a female Sasquatch in his story on Mica Mountain in British Columbia. He said it was on October 3rd, 1955. He had the exact date. He had all this stuff. He watched the creature for several minutes, and he described it in remarkable detail. Broad, flat nose, small black eyes, hair about half an inch long, and he heard it make this whinny sound before it walked away. Now, the problem is, again, he didn't talk about this for 2 years. He did it when the contest came out in August of 1957. And he suddenly goes to his city and has them certify it and come up with this draft, a notarized statement that this is true and 100%. Well, why did he do it in 1957? Because the contest, right? And $600 back then is like about $6,000 today.
Right.
So
You're so cynical.
all right, just saying, this is weird. And he had so many anatomical details: the sagittarial crest, the trapezius muscles, the flat face, the fingernails were broken and chipped. He's describing the foot structure, its vegetarian diet, its sleeping habits. How did he only watch it for a few minutes and have all this? Yeah, exactly. That's an awful lot to remember 2 years later. What do you remember from 2 years later? Even a big event, like I saw something weird when I was a kid. I remember it. It's a blur to me, 90% of it. So now this is treated as one of the most credible in Bigfoot history. This is the one Patterson and Gimlin were trying to prove a decade later.
Oh, really?
And then it conveniently shows up while they're out making a movie. So is it coincidence?
So, okay.
I think it's a payday.
So let's stop
Right?
right there. Let's put a pin in it.
That's first part.
I love the
Part
fact
one.
that you said that they were out trying to make a movie because according to Bob's account in Russell's show, that's not what they were doing.
Oh yeah,
No, that's
they
not
were
what,
out.
no. They were
They
just
were out
out.
to document it. Yeah,
They were out trying to document and see if they could see it. And then, so it's like you get these two major, well, we're going to make a documentary, we're going to be a movie. There's all these people to listen to Bob talk. It was just Bob and the other guy.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
On a
And
horseback.
Yeah.
with these
No
fancy
crew,
cameras
no nothing.
that they had, these fancy cameras that they had rented to do this and all that. It's just to go out and document. It's just very, very weird.
Well,
All
the
right,
weird part
so-
to me, if you watch the footage, the pack horse that spooked was Bob
Yeah.
Hieronymus's horse.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, but Bob wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, why would he loan his horse? You know, anyway, that's later. That's later. So now one of the previous accounts that everybody talks about, you've all heard the story, is the Ape Canyon incident, right? 1924, that
Oh,
these
yeah.
people had hurled boulders at their house. The apes attacked them. Now, and that's why it's called Ape Canyon.
Right.
No,
St. Helens.
it's called Ape Canyon because some Boy Scouts were one of the few people to document that canyon, and they were the apes. That was their name of the Boy Scout group. So
What?
you don't hear that ever brought up when people bring up Ape Canyon. So, all right. Now, Rant
on.
Mullins, who was this.
I thought it went back into the 20s or not, during the gold rush.
Yeah, it was during
Yeah.
the gold rush.
Yeah.
And it was,
That
and
was
it
the
was
Boy
all the
Scout
gold
troop.
miners that were getting stuff pelted their cabins, whole nine
No.
yards. I didn't know it was. I didn't know it all started off with a Boy Scout. I didn't know there were Boy
Well,
Scouts. were back then.
1924 is when the miners were getting hit with the rocks.
And that was
It's
Ape
not
Canyon.
that far back. The Boy Scouts founded in like 1908, and I think it actually went a little before that. So that was just
Wow.
when the story came out. So all right, so this guy named Rant Mullins, he confesses years later that he said his friend George was always playing jokes, and he rolled some rocks down off an edge, and then we ran down and we heard the miners talking about the wild men of the area, and they just let him tell the story, and they were like, "Oh man, yeah," and all this, and they never told anybody the true story. The guys, George Ross was the guy who rolled the rocks down. They weren't throwing them down. This was not an attack. It was a prank, and the guy had, now again, this is one guy admitting to it. So yeah, that could be fake, but why would he admit to it if he was
Right.
old and dying? Again, they always talk about the deathbed confessions. Here's a deathbed convention. All right. We move on to 1930s. Okay. This is when a guy named Mullins was working for the Forest Service, and he decided he was going to have some fun. So he took a piece of alder wood. So this is number one. And
All right,
using
let's-
nothing but a
yeah, I
hatchet
think
and
you
a
can-
jackknife, he carves out these feet.
The Stompers.
Okay. Yeah, the stompers, the 1930 stompers. And his friend Bill Lambert takes the wooden feet to the base of Mount St. Helens, where there were huckleberry pickers had parked their cars, and they wanted him to leave. So he stomps around the vehicles, leaving these giant footprints. And that later that day, Mullins and Lambert at the ranger station, the berry pickers come in to report the tracks, and they said, "Oh, that's the monster. You better get out of here." And so the 1930s famous tracks were from a logger with a hatchet. All right. And he claimed he made 8 sets of these over the years.
Oh,
And
my.
most of them went to California. He sent them to friends. And his last set was not till 1982. And if you look at those, it is pretty close to the plaster casts made by Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson.
The day
So-
after they supposedly filmed and a big storm came through.
Yes. Look, compare. It's so close. All right. Now, some people say, "Oh, it's coincidence. This guy made casts, and Gimlin, found these tracks that are very similar."
Shit, those
It's
things
the
look
same wooden
identical
feet.
except for the big toe.
Yeah.
It's the same wooden feet a couple decades later.
And that
So-
would, that would explain why there's really no great detail of the foot.
Right. And they're
No.
like, "Oh, dermal ridges. It's wood. Wood makes that same freaking print." Okay. So now it gets interesting. And this is where I pissed off a lot of people.
And now there's more. But wait,
Yeah.
there's more.
So,
But wait,
you heard
there's
Rand-
more.
Grant Mullins, the practical joker who made up the story, Ray Wallace, who made the prints, were neighbors in Toledo, Washington, where that article came out. And who, of course, he provided him the feet. And Wallace then moved to Northern California. Guess what? What year did this happen? 1958, the year of the Jerry Crew tracks.
Oh my.
So, yeah. And this was at Wallace's construction site, and his employee, Jerry Crew, found the tracks. Oh my gosh. It's yeah.
amazing.
And then the newspaper invents the term Bigfoot because they look like big feet. So,
So you're saying that all we have to do is carve out some feet,
yeah.
put it inside the bottom of a homemade suit, not homemade, a professionally made suit,
So,
and make it all one piece. And now you've got a monster that can walk through the woods, leave tracks. It's, you know what? I've always found it amazing. Every track I see, matter of fact, Anthony, for my birthday, Anthony bought me a set of tracks, which I got in the window. It's amazing that when you look at them and you see the tracks that everybody finds or whatever, they're really, really good ones. They look like almost like the pressure had to come straight down. It's
Straight
never
down.
a roll and squish, because when we walk on the sand, just say we walk on the sand, right? It's a heel roll, and then the front of the foot is spread.
Yep.
And the sand spreads out. You don't ever see that in these tracks and all these things. Everything looks like it's went straight down
Just went-
and come right straight back up. They
Bigfoot has no arch.
yeah. And no, I mean, but anyway, yeah, this is so it's, and Mullins admitted to this in 1982.
wow.
That he did the footprints. When he died in 2002, when Wallace died in 2002, his family brought out the feet. And they were telling that he had, and the feet are still there. Look, that's the picture.
Yeah.
So, and even 86, Mullins had that great quote. "I tell you, people will believe just about anything. I let the joke go." So, all right. So he offered to do a polygraph test, but nobody took him up on it. So,
Imagine that.
Okay. Yeah, imagine that, right? So they don't want it proven that these were fake. Now, we know the first tracks are a hoax, right? And we also know that these fooled a bunch of the big names,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Anderson, Meldrum, I'm sorry, you guys experts. These were the tracks you were showing. The Roger Patterson, Bob Gimlin, oh my gosh. And it's like, no, they're not. There's no way those were true.
I know we have one more image of the very last one that you wanted to see. I want to have.
Yeah, I know we're running out of time, so I'll skip
show
a
that
bunch.
real quick.
Yeah, number 6. Yeah. So this is them, they're hunters. They were trying to make it and all that. It's 100% crazy. And then we talk Yeti. There's a whole story about that I can get into another time. That's it's actually Medi, and that's the local term for bear in Tibet. So now they've tested DNA evidence. They've tested a lot of this. Everyone they've released, like 99%, is bear, and as a bear. And so, there's a whole thing about the what was it, the Panganichi Yeti relics,
Right.
that they were brought here from, and I love that Jimmy Stewart smuggled him in his wife's lingerie case.
Yeah.
And all this. It's amazing. And when they couldn't DNA test it for decades. When they finally did, it was human. It wasn't a Yeti. It wasn't anything else.
Harry Bush down there in the wild. Wilds.
But they're like, there are no
and
white
the scalp ended up being what, yak skin, I think.
Yeah, yak skin on a human skull. So, and then
Yeah, Josh Gates did a test on that, and it came back inconclusive.
Unconfirmed. Yeah, no, because it came up yak.
Oh,
they didn't
I
test
thought you
for
were
that.
saying that Josh Gates was yak skin on a human skeleton. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
So, last couple things. 90% of Bigfoot encounters are sightings. And how many eyewitness testimonies have convicted people that were later overturned? 73% of wrongful convictions were cleared by DNA evidence because eyewitness misidentified them. 73%.
In the young man's rant that we were talking about at the very beginning, he even talked about the structures and all that kind of stuff. How it's
that's
I mean
again
we literally
trees fall like
screenshot
that.
the whole thing, and it's amazing that people will take a if you get something that's woven, woven and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll go to fantastic next. But if it's woven and it's really good, like I will give it to Maria and Russell, and I don't know what the new guy's name is, and I really don't care, because I'll
Lake.
You need to have RPG or have Ronnie back out there. I'm just saying. But the last one they did, those big beds they found. Yeah, that wasn't to me that was made. I mean.
And also to me, sometimes deer and elk and bears make beds that look like some of those. And
but not woven like this.
The structures,
but they're woven, and there's many of them near each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of
most of the stuff where sticks have fallen and stuff, it's like whatever.
And how many of us built a fort in the forest when we were kids?
Oh my God, I had them everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And did it look like a bunch of logs together? Most of the time it did.
Yeah.
And so, okay, now the last thing is we got to talk about bears. Every place that has over 5,000 bears.
Baker Fantastic coming up.
Okay, real quick. But every place that has over 5,000 bears has a Bigfoot sighting. And that goes up percentage. Every 1,000 bears goes up multiple sightings. So I do think 99% are bear sightings, misidentified. And because of all this, I think that's why when I do get a report that looks different from Patterson-Gimlin, that's the ones I'm interested in. And that's the one I care about. So anyway, that's it.
All right, you ready? Right. Here we go.
Let's do it.
You got that ready for fact or fiction? Yeah, let's let it roll.
All right.
Okay. All right. That is some well done makeup.
Yes. 100%.
I mean, absolutely 100%. That's got special effects written all over it.
I do believe that is one of the Ron Moore masks.
I do believe
a little
so too.
more hairy.
And then we get this ghost. Then we get a ghost squatch, right? Which,
that's AI.
That's actually the Imperial Storms, or an Imperial Squatch Trooper.
It's more of a Yeti. Okay, so I just wanted to show, but now this one I hit. Okay, so this is a picture that we pulled, and then it's going to see. This is what
Return of the Yeti.
Then they posted this picture with a bunch of oh my God, right now do you see the figure that's over there to the left, right? It's kind of there. We have a blown up version of it, of course, and then when you blow it up, you can't see shit because it's pixelated.
It's just branches and crap.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, AI, hey buddy, show me what it would look like if you could enhance this. So AI did, and this is what we got.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
I
my
mean,
immediate thought.
it kind of did okay. Now, that's what AI sees.
Is that
now,
a centaur or a merman?
I don't know. Yeah. But this is what we want to see, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go back to the original
That's exactly
picture.
what I saw. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's
man.
what we want to
So
see.
real.
But that's what, yeah. So these are the things I'm going to start making fun of because that is just a shadow sitting there, and it just
Yep.
happens to be the way the shadow is. Because if you look at the elk, and if you look at the very right elk with the big horns, you can see the shadow is coming off of him that way. Well, there are two trees that are set back, and that's where your shadow's coming from.
Well, look at that shadow behind the elk's antlers.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
almost
Yeah.
the same color, the same
Yep.
shape. It's shadow.
Yeah.
100%.
It's leading into that
Like I said, I am
parallel
not
effect.
saying.
Right.
Yep.
So bring us back, Cage. And you know what, folks? We're running out of time. And I was going to tell everybody right now, I'm going to kind of take over a little bit, is we want to make sure that you guys are watching, you're sharing, going to all of our social medias. And next week, we will have a slate up that's got them all. So that way you can have it, and I'll post them on our page. You can go to ParaGeeks TV on YouTube. Actually, on Facebook, ParaGeeks TV on TikTok. I think we have a Twitter or X, whatever. And no, that's a natural X. It was made. It's not a shelter. And soon, and now, yeah, you can go to area52tv.com and watch all the past episodes, but we'll have everything up there to start following. And we want to thank everybody for watching this week. If you want to be on, let us know. If you have a topic for us, let us know. Either way, we will get back to you. We'll see everybody next week on ParaGeeks TV.